Why are you trying to silence me? Inside Meri Brown's explosive fight over the Coyote Pass NDA and the hidden war that tore the Browns apart introduction, a breaking point years in the making. Viewers had become accustomed to tension by the time Sister Wives entered season 20. Divorces, betrayals, separations, and emotional wounds had turned what was once presented as a functioning plural family into a fractured collection of individuals trying to move on with their lives. But nothing, not even the intense breakup episodes of seasons 17 and 18, prepared fans for the raw emotional blow delivered in the November 14, 2025 sneak peek. For the first time, Meri Brown described, in blunt, almost shaking detail, that she had been pressured to sign a confidentiality agreement during the long-delayed sale of the Coyote Pass property. And her refusal to sign it is what, she claims, led Kody Brown to blame her for slowing down the deal. Her voice cracked on camera as she asked the question that hung heavily in the air. Why do you want me to sign a confidentiality agreement? Why are you trying to silence me? This upcoming episode 8, titled Making Out Like Teenagers, is supposed to chronicle the final chapter of the Browns' long entanglement with Coyote Pass. But what it actually reveals is something much deeper, a clash over control, truth, and the desperate attempts to manage a narrative as the Brown family's most symbolic investment finally slips from their hands. What follows is a full, comprehensive look at the story behind the scene, the emotional beats, the family politics, the financial pressures, and what this moment really means for Meri, Kody, Janelle, Robyn, and the legacy of the land that was supposed to hold them together. Chapter 1 Coyote Pass, the dream that became a battleground. When the Browns purchased Coyote Pass in 2018, the idea was simple. The land would be a fresh start, multiple homes built on adjoining lots, a place where their plural family could grow old together, grandchildren running across shared yards, and wives living in unity. It was supposed to symbolize security, unity, and hope. Instead, over the next 7 years, Coyote Pass morphed into an emotional minefield. Christine left first, in November 2021. Janelle followed in late 2022. Meri formally separated from Kody in early 2023. Even as the plural marriage dissolved, the land remained a legal and financial tie that connected them all, sometimes unwillingly. By April 2025, people confirmed that Coyote Pass had finally sold for $1.5 million. But season 20 shows the messy underside of that process. The sale itself wasn't simple, smooth, or amicable. It came with conditions, disagreements, arguments about fairness, long-simmering resentments, and one unexpected demand. A confidentiality agreement that Meri refused to sign. Why was it needed? Who wanted it? And what did it aim to silence? Those questions hang heavily over every scene in episode 8. Chapter 2 The NDA Bombshell, Why Are You Trying to Silence Me? In the preview clip, Meri sits in her confessional chair, visibly upset, and begins revealing a piece of the story that had never been mentioned publicly before. He's putting the whole thing on me, saying that I slowed it down, that I'm the problem. However, the issue arose because they were attempting to get me to sign a confidentiality agreement that I was unwilling to accept. Why do you want me to sign a confidentiality agreement? Why are you trying to silence me? Her voice trembles as she speaks the last words. For Meri, this isn't just a paperwork issue. It's a violation of her autonomy. For years, Meri felt like her voice didn't matter in the Brown family. She was isolated emotionally. Her relationship with Kody was reduced to dead long before they publicly announced it. She stayed silent to keep family peace, to maintain appearances, and to protect the children. But now, with the family dissolved and the land sale finally happening, she was being asked, again, to keep quiet. Except this time, she wasn't willing. The NDA wasn't just a piece of paper. It symbolized every moment Meri was told to stay quiet, accept scraps of affection, endure coldness, or tolerate being sidelined. Her refusal makes complete sense in that context. This wasn't business. It was personal. Chapter 3 Why would anyone want Meri silenced? NDAs are common in business transactions, but on Sister Wives, they carry extra weight. Based on the preview's implications, this confidentiality agreement may have served the following purposes. Prevent personal disputes from being aired. Stop Meri from publicly discussing disagreements over the sale. Limit her ability to reveal negotiation details. Restrict her from speaking about behind-the-scenes pressure. But why her? Because, historically, Meri is the one who has endured the most injustice from Kody without being allowed to explain her side. She has hinted many times that there are things she could say but chooses not to. An NDA would seal that silence permanently. In her eyes, signing it would mean surrendering the last shred of control she had over her story. Chapter 4: The Blame Game. Kody's version of events. Kody doesn't deny tension. In fact, he admits it, but casts the situation differently. He claims that Janelle was afraid they would lose the buyer. According to him, she pushed for quick action and warned him that if he didn't meet the conditions, or force compliance, the sale could fall apart. He recounts his involvement in a backdoor deal with Janelle. "Hey, we'll just sell it off from under these other two." The two are Meri and Robyn. It's a shocking admission. Even the idea of sidelining them without their consent reveals the deep fractures in what once was a unified family. But Kody's justification is revealing. He paints himself as the one who always tried to listen to everyone, even when pressured by one wife to ignore the others. He claims he couldn't do the backdoor plan because he's a terrible polygamist, someone who didn't know how to crack down, didn't know how to tell wives to shut up, and had to keep everyone happy. In the emotional reality of the Brown family, however, it's difficult not to hear that as revisionist history. Chapter 5: Robyn's unexpected moment of backbone. When Kody finally confessed the situation to Robyn, her reaction stunned him. She didn't want the sale forced. She didn't want anyone pushed. She didn't want a deal that cut out the other wives. She wanted fairness. Her direct quote is one of the most striking moments in the preview. "I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not selling this land until everything is perfectly fair, and we do this the right way. Sorry. I'll be the big, fat rock in the way." This is the kind of scene viewers have long wished to see from Robyn, a moment where she stands up not just for her interests but for the ethical treatment of everyone involved, including wives she has clashed with. Her stance forced Kody to reconsider his plan. It also flips the usual dynamic. In most seasons, Robyn is framed as the wife who always agrees with Kody, who supports his decisions, and who aligns with his narrative. Here, she throws herself in front of the whole train and demands fairness. It's one of the most surprising emotional beats of the season. Chapter 6: The Emotional Collapse. When Meri breaks down. The director asks Meri at the end of the sneak peek, "Would you even be allowed to talk about this if you had signed the confidentiality agreement?" Her answer is immediate and devastating. "No." Then the tears come. These are not the camera-friendly, carefully restrained tears that viewers have previously witnessed. These are tears of betrayal, tears that come from a deep place, the kind that surface when someone feels stripped of dignity. She adds, "It makes me wonder if these people are even human." That line is painful. It's raw. It shows the full extent of her hurt. This entire experience wasn't just frustrating. It reopened old wounds that she had tried for years to heal. Wounds from being excluded, dismissed, ignored, minimized, or treated like an inconvenience. The NDA was the final straw. It wasn't about secrecy. It was about power. And she wasn't giving up hers again. Chapter 7: Janelle's Role, the Pressure Cooker. While the clip focuses heavily on Meri and Kody, there's a quiet undercurrent involving Janelle. Kody specifically says she encouraged him to comply completely with Meri's conditions or force the sale. Janelle has historically been the wife most grounded in logic, finances, and practical sense. She was the one who pushed for Coyote Pass development while the others were still uncertain. She had the hardest time financially after the divorce because her assets were tied up in the land. Her urgency makes sense. She needed to sell the land to access her share. She wanted the sale to close quickly to prevent the buyer from withdrawing. She didn't want more delays. She feared Meri's refusal could jeopardize everything. But even this practical motivation created emotional fallout. Janelle's pressure intensified the conflict between Kody and Meri. Robyn refused to budge unless the process was fair. Kody felt stretched between competing demands. And Meri felt cornered. This triangle, Janelle wanting progress, Robyn wanting fairness, and Meri wanting autonomy, is a perfect snapshot of why this family ultimately fell apart. Chapter 8: Why this story matters more than other Brown family conflicts. Unlike past family arguments, over holidays, loyalty, parenting differences, or relationship breakdowns, the NDA conflict hits differently. Here's why. 1. It exposes concealed power struggles. This wasn't a family argument, it was a legal one. Legal fights expose who holds power and who doesn't. 2. It reveals attempts to control public narrative. The sale of Coyote Pass was always going to be a major storyline. An NDA would decide whose version of the story reached viewers. 3. It shows Meri's evolution. For years, she was loyal even when she felt unloved. Now she's drawing boundaries. 4. It shatters the myth of unity. The family weren't just divided emotionally, they were divided legally, contractually, and financially. 5. It gives insight into why Coyote Pass was delayed for years. Fans always wondered why the land sat empty for so long. This storyline gives the clearest answer yet: disagreements, mistrust, and competing agendas kept it frozen. Chapter 9: The symbolism of the land sale, a funeral for the plural marriage. When the Browns bought Coyote Pass, they saw it as the ultimate symbol of their unity. Selling it is the opposite. It's the funeral of their plural family. And look at what the sale required. Tense negotiations. Legal conflict. Conditional agreements. Emotional breakdowns. Accusations of betrayal. Last-minute interventions. Everything that kept the Browns together in the early seasons, trust, collaboration, loyalty, was entirely absent in the land's final chapter. The plural marriage didn't just end. It unraveled in slow motion, and Coyote Pass was the stage where every unresolved wound came back to life. Chapter 10: Meri's future, what this reveals about her next chapter. Meri's refusal to sign the NDA isn't just a plot point. It's a turning point. For years, she was expected to fall in line. Follow along. Sacrifice her voice for the family's image. No more. Her stance suggests several things. She's ready to reclaim her narrative. She no longer wants to protect people who didn't protect her. She won't be pressured by Kody again. Her independence is no longer symbolic, it's real. She is emotionally done with the expectations placed on her. If Coyote Pass was the last tie binding her to the Brown family, the NDA fight severed it completely. She's stepping into full adulthood outside the plural dynamic. She is no longer stepping into the role of Kody's wife. She is not stepping into adulthood as Kody's wife. Rather, she views herself as her own unique individual. Chapter 11: What this means for Season 20 and beyond. The NDA storyline adds an additional dimension to Sister Wives. For the first time in the family's history, viewers are getting a behind-the-scenes look at what happens when legal agreements intersect with emotional trauma. This scene sets the tone for the rest of the season. Raw, confrontational, revealing, deeply human. It also recontextualizes every previous fight the Browns had. Fans can now see that much of the family's conflict wasn't just emotional, it was institutional, legal, and structural. The fallout from this episode is likely to shape the rest of the season's narrative. Chapter 12: Final analysis, why this scene is one of the most decisive moments in Sister Wives history. Meri's tearful question, "Why are you trying to silence me?" will go down as one of the defining quotes of the entire series. It crystallizes the imbalance of power, the long-term emotional neglect, and the manipulation she experienced, and her refusal to be quiet anymore. This moment is more than a fight over paperwork. It's the culmination of years of repression, quiet suffering, and unspoken pain. And now, finally, Meri is speaking. The sale of Coyote Pass may be the end of the Brown family's plural marriage, but Meri's refusal to sign that confidentiality agreement